And our core vision is to be the thriving ecosystem of purpose driven entrepreneurs who are equipped with the skills, support, and strategy needed to run profitable businesses, beginning with business owners in Ibadan and then expanding beyond. So the goal is we are not just focusing on business owners in Ibadan only. We are expanding, we are moving towards other businesses outside Ibadan, within Nigeria, and of course on the global stage. So if you're hearing about TNC for the first time, you are very much welcome. Please, can you hear me? Am I audible enough?
It's just that we're having
Yes, you are
Yeah,
very audible.
yeah, we can hear you. It's a little
background
noisy
noise.
at the background. Yeah.
I am sorry. I'm still in the day. Like I said, I am so sorry about the noises. I'll try to keep my voice very loud so you can hear me above the noises. Would that be fine, please?
Yeah, we would manage. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about the first million blueprints. What it is, what is it exactly? What are we talking about when we're saying the first million? So for those who are just starting, the first million is about hitting that crucial revenue milestone. For you, it may be reach, it may be numbers, it may be money, it may just be influence, whatever it is your business is all about. The first million is about hitting that crucial revenue milestone. It's the financial confirmation that what you're doing works and it's sustainable. Of course, every business is founded in a bid to make money. Whether it's an NGO, at the end of the day, you are still bringing in something financially. So that first million is the financial confirmation that what you're doing works and it's sustainable. Meanwhile, for others, the first million can be the number of lives impacted, the value your business brings to others. In this sense, it's about making a measurable difference through your products or services. The first million can also mean reaching an audience of 1 million. Like I said, maybe not just the money. As an NGO, it could go beyond money for you. It could be about the impact, the influence of lives, and the number of lives that you're reaching. The value your business brings to others. So the first million can also mean reaching an audience of 1 million, whether that's in terms of followers, leads, or customers. For entrepreneurs focused on brand building, this speaks directly to scaling through a solid community base, whether it's revenue, reach, or real impact. Your first major breakthrough begins with the right blueprint. And that's what the Mustard Circle mission for the launch here is. So the first million blueprint is not just about money. It's not just, of course, as much as it is about money, it is not just about the 1 million naira that you're making. I mean, you can even make more than 1 million naira at once. And it is not just even about the money. You can reach more than 1 million people at the same time. So we're moving on to the next thing on the agenda, and that's introduction of guest speaker. So I'm going to call on Mr. David to introduce to us who we have here tonight. So, Mr. David, over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Esther. It's a pleasure having everyone on the call. Good evening. Please confirm that I'm audible and I'm clear. I need to be sure. Please, good evening, everyone.
Very audible, very clear.
All right. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure having you on the call, Mr. Fabrice. Thank you for honoring the invitation. Good evening, everyone. And it's the second edition of the First Million Blueprints. And our second edition, we're having a very great man, an influential man. For those of you, first of them, might not know much about the Mustard Circle. Just like Esther Olawale said, we are a business community in Nigeria, established in Nigeria. And our focus basically is to ensure that you can thrive as a business owner. And we are bringing thriving business owners, just like we have in our tonight edition. So make welcome Mr. Tekinda Fabrice Mbuna. I'll say a little bit about him before I bring him on screen. He has a rare blend of different things, both artistry, both intellect, both entrepreneurial grit, and he's an acclaimed poet, he's a dramatist, and also a very, very distinguished cybersecurity professional. And his influence actually spanned across industries and continents. And with that voice that actually bridged the words of literature, of theology, of technology, he has carved a unique space for himself as both a cultural storyteller and also a forward-thinking strategist. And his journey reflects the resilience of an African spirit that dares to dream beyond borders, not just within the confines of your space, but dreaming beyond your locality. And that is the reason why we are bringing him in. So basically, he moved from his home country, currently in the United States, and he has actually built a thriving business right from the scratch and in one of the most competitive markets in the world, which is the United States. So from the boardroom to creative strategies, he has insight that actually cuts across how you can protect, how you can build, how you can scale any business in this digital age. I've worked with him times with that number, so I can say a good number of things about him, and I want you also to come and learn from his experience. And his story is not just about professional success, but about the mindset, about discipline, about vision, and what it takes actually for you as an African entrepreneur. Most of us on the call might be Nigerian, yeah, but we are all African. How can you bridge that gap? How can you scale beyond that particular level? So at this conference 2.0, Mr. Fabrice Mbuna will pull back the curtain on his real life strategies, his challenges, his wins. He would offer us with your opportunity to learn from someone who has actually walked the paths. And I know as the session move on, you might have questions. So just pen it down, drop them in the chat. We'll take questions at a particular period. So ensure you drop them down. So at this period, I would love to welcome you, sir, Mr. Fabrice. Can you just say hi to your audience? And let's give him applause, a round, sorry, a warm round of applause.
Well, thank you very much. I hope everybody can see me in my beautiful library, right? A virtual library.
Yeah.
With
Yes,
technology,
we can.
everything is possible with technology.
Yeah, and your gap tip for me, sir.
Wow. So I hope my story is very clear.
Yeah,
If it's
very
not from breaking, you let me know so that I can use my additional mics to filter my sound so that we capture every moment that we're going to be discussing here. But if
good.
everything's fine, then I would like to roll on.
Okay.
Once again, it's a privilege for me, and thank you very much, David, for honoring me here on this wonderful platform. So it's a privilege as well. At least that tells me that at least there are many minds out there that are hungry for a change. And I believe that it's just a matter of time. And when you have the right information, you'll be able to get to where you aspire to be. Just like the good book tells us, it's a write down the vision and make it plain. So every great achievement that you ever see on the planet Earth began with a vision that was written, either mentally on a piece of paper, before it actually grew to be what it is today. So once again, it is my pleasure and honor to share whatever experience that God has permitted me to have with each and every one of you. As of course, David, the moderator, also said, if you have any question as we go through the session, please feel free to ask me. So did I miss out anything, David? Over to you so that we can proceed.
No, none at all. You've touched on everything necessary. So Esther Lawali, can you pick it up from here? Esther, are you still there?
All right. Yes, I am. Thank you, Mr. Fabrice. And thank you, Mr. David. So we're going to start with questions. So the first question here is, can you take us back, Mr. Fabrice? Can you take us back to the beginning? What it was like for you growing up in Africa, and how did your early environment shape your ambitions?
Well, thank you very much. The good thing is that first and foremost, I'm an African like each and every one of you. And I was born and bred in Cameroon, where I was born. And we know Cameroon, like Nigeria or other African nations, are actually facing almost the same fear. When I say the same fear, that is many youth, when they go to school, they graduate, one of the things they have in mind is they are so afraid, they don't even know what to do in life. And sometimes they ask themselves the question, am I going to succeed? you go to church, you pray, and you look at the socio-political economic situation of the nation, and it is kind of a little bit tough and defeating at the same time, you know. But one of the things that I came to learn, because one of my anchor, my strength has been my Christian faith in Christ. And of course, I believe that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I believe that in me, there is more than enough resources and so on. So growing up in a situation like Cameroon, just as David earlier on said, I'm a person with so many skills and so many talented. So I went to school like every other person, and even not even understanding what I was going to do. But I found myself in the university doing English language at the bachelor's level. But one thing I was drawn to was the talent of writing literature. So I was very gifted, and I'm still very gifted when it comes to writing and so on. So that actually was something that could keep me going. And I kept on developing that talent without even knowing where that talent was going to take me to. I mean, that is just the irony about it. And I'm sure that many of us, we identify yourself with what I'm saying right here, because talent is something that is inborn. You don't, the only thing you do with talent is you cultivate the talent. You might not even understand where it's going to take you to, but all is that keep building and cultivating that talent. And one of the talents I knew I had was the talent of writing, public speaking as well. So I kept on writing, even though it was not professional, but I kept on writing. I kept on writing. I kept on writing. And most of you may be surprised to know that one of the poems I wrote when I was 14 was Miss Angel. And that was a poem I wrote of maybe about 3 stanzas. And of course, today, Miss Angel, I wrote that poem. I can't remember if that was before 2000, and today in 2012, that particular poem actually became a whole book. That tells you how much I've been nurturing that vision and so on. So to cut a long story short, I went through the university. My passion was in writing, developing the gift I had in me. I did not even know where that was going to take me. I remember there was a time I met some professors, some lecturers in the university. They were talking about writing, and I also approached them. I said, I'm a writer. And one of the things they told me, they laugh at me, they look at me because I was still very young. And I'm sure in their mind, they asked themselves, what can this little boy be talking about being a writer? What does he know? But that did not stop me to continue dreaming and so on. And until, of course, it came to a point whereby God opened the door, whereby I had to find myself in the United States. And even the United States, and of course, the deep passion in me kept growing. I kept nurturing and so on. And of course, for those of you that are spiritual and you believe, I believe one thing I believe is the footsteps of the righteous are honored by the Lord. God will always speak to you. God is always going to guide you and so on. So one of the things that kept me going was some of the dreams and the revelations that God kept giving me. And of course, showing me the future of the works that I have, the books that I'm writing. Even though they were not perfect, I had nobody to help me. My early books I wrote, they were full of mistakes. I never had any editor. I had no money to get somebody to help me edit even the books. But what I did was I still went ahead and published the books the way they were, because I believe that the vision and the vision was still going to come to pass one day. So you see, I am going to use my example to speak in the life of so many people listening to me. Many of you are in Africa right now. You are talented. You might not be a writer like myself. Yours might be football, of course. Yours might just be, you can be a good cook. Of course, you might, in fact, no matter the talent that God has given you in your capacity, keep developing it. You might not see a future in the context where you are, but one day, God is going to open the door and take you to an area where before you realize it, then you are really going to excel in that particular gift. So one thing that I would like to reiterate here is that God gives you the gift, and God gives you the passion, God gives you the drive. So the worst mistake you will ever do, even as an entrepreneur, is that you neglect your gift, you neglect the drive, and so on. No matter how much knowledge you may acquire, it will not still help you. Why? Because the primary thing that is going to keep you going throughout is going to be that gift, is going to be that drive. Any other thing that comes along the way is like knowledge. You only be with knowledge and you only increase. So again, that's just a little bit of who I am and where I am today. But that is just the foundation of what I took when I was young, especially from Cameroon, and of course I kept nurturing it today, and I've continued to build on it. So again, I'm not just a writer, but along the way, other visions got added, other visions. And that is the same thing I'm trying to tell each and every one of you. You might still have a vision, a dream, or a talent. You are nurturing it right now. You will see that the more the talent grows, the more other vision are going to be birthed from it. So growth will actually bring multiplication. But if you actually stagnate that growth, then other multiplication might not actually show up. So again, that's just a little bit I can say for the first question you asked, unless maybe there is part of it that I left out. I'll be more than happy to really reiterate back on that.
Thank you so much, sir. That was revealing. Thank you. And I'm glad. I'm happy that we now have you to look up to this day. So, to the next question: what first sparked your interest in tech, cybersecurity to be specific? What led to you being interested in cybersecurity?
Well, to be very honest, if I give you my circumstances, it is going to look like absurd. You know, one thing I've come to learn in life is that the human mind, the brain of a 5 years old is more powerful than the brain of a supercomputer, right? So as an entrepreneur, and especially as a human being, the way we have been designed, you need to be open to the world of possibilities, because the only limitation that will come your way is your ability to think and your ability to take action. Now, if you ask people today, who am I? Some people will call me prof because they know me as a cybersecurity instructor. Now, some people will know me as a writer. Some people will know me as a preacher. Some people will know me as a dramatist. Some people will know me as a poet. That is how different people see me out there. But now, coming back to answer what motivated me to cybersecurity, cybersecurity initially was never my passion. It was never my place of influence. My place of influence was writing, literature, poetry, drama. Just as David mentioned in the beginning, we have been working together for so many years. But it so happened that when I came to the United States, I found myself in a different geographical context. And of course, even though writing for me was my major, but writing was not the only talent and gift that God had given me. There were other minors, right? That's why when you go to university, you're taking a degree, they always have things they call elective. So again, my major was there, but I saw that for me to be able to survive in my major, that is going to give me peace and joy, then my minor at one point needed to be activated. So I found myself in a context that was totally different from what I knew back in Africa. So what will I do? Am I going to continue in literature? Of course, literature is good, writing is good, but it's not going to put food on my table, and so on. I have a family, just like many of you, and so on. Well, what will I do? So I actually studied, and I saw actually what was trending in the society, what was selling, and I just had to reposition my mind. And you see, that's a problem that a lot of people have. It's like, okay, I just want to be an entrepreneur, but what do you want to be an entrepreneur in? The answer is, oh, I just want to be a professional cook. Anything that has nothing to do with what you dream of, you put it aside. But as an entrepreneur, you need to have a mindset that is open, because God is going to fit your mind. Remember, one of the things I said when you asked me the first question was that when you nurture your talent and give, the more your talent grows, the more others revisions are going to be multiplied from it, right? Remember, the Bible says, out of your belly shall spring forth springs of living waters, right? So those springs of living waters is the passion, the gift, the talent that God has given you. So in this particular case, I was never a cybersecurity person. As I told you, I have a bachelor's degree in English language, and I have a master's degree in theology. And people ask themselves the question, well, how come you're in cybersecurity? Well, it's just a matter of changing your mind when it is necessary. It's like you live in two seasons. You live through the winter, and you also live during the summer. If the summertime comes, hey, you have to take off your winter jacket, keep them somewhere, and then dress according to the weather. When it is summer, places are cool, remove back your jacket and put them on. Prevent yourself from cold. So that is just simply how my career actually is. I came with a passion of literature. But when I came, I realized that, hey, things will not easily work like this. I had to switch my perspective for some time to be able to build survival capacity. And from there now, that was how a new vision and a new enterprise was birthed. I don't know if that actually helps you answer your question. Are
Yes,
you there?
Tara, are you today? Yeah, I don't know. Probably she's having network issues. Yeah, thank you so much for that. I actually love your response to that. You said switch perspective for survivor, and
I
that
mean, we
actually
just
was,
have to be
yeah.
flexible. That is it. You have
Mhm.
just be flexible.
Yeah, I hope we are all learning some things and picking some points from this.
Okay, hello.
Yeah, Esther, thank God you're back.
Yes, I'm back. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so the next question. What were some cultural shocks or professional shock you experienced when you first arrived?
Well, thank you very much. Again, let's talk about cultural shock, right? You know that when you live in Africa and you have never traveled, you will never understand the reality of the world. Indeed. When I was in Africa, in Cameroon, for me, all I could think about was within the scope of uh, my local environment. And that could not really sell me to the market because the best I could offer at that moment was just simply what was tight around my environment. But as a result of traveling out and coming across many cultures, in fact, you are challenged to look at things not from a single perspective, to look at things from a cross-cultural perspective. Now, if you have to develop a brand, is the brand just going to be for you? Is the brand going to be for different people? And so on. So how are you going to look at the brand? So that is one of the things I struggled in the very beginning because I had to adapt to different cultures and see things the way different cultures actually see them, not just from my perspective, the way I actually grew and so on. So again, coming from a very disciplined spiritual background, again, it was not easy to accept a lot of people, especially we are here in the United States. I mean, you will see people dress anyhow. You will see people with all forms of no identification. Some of these will challenge you as a business person. It's like, hey, you believe that men should have no hair like me. Hey, you believe that men shouldn't put earring. Hey, you believe that men should be like this. What happens if you have a business and the most talented person that you ever need for your business comes with dreadlocks, earrings, tattoo all over the body? What are you going to do? Are you going to say, I'm not going to hire you? I'm not going to work with you because I don't identify with your cultural way of doing things? Those are things that you are going to encounter. You see, and those were some of the early days challenges that I actually came across. But again, I had to learn how to adapt to those. And that's to tell you that those of you listening to me, you might be in Nigeria today, you might be in a part of the world today, but believe me, culture is very, very vast. But at least I'm grateful that with the use of the internet today, at least we are now seeing different cultures with which we can try to really somehow adapt at the remote or distant or at a distance. But again, for you to be able to succeed as an entrepreneur, you must learn how to embrace and adapt different cultures because, again, cultural bias is more than enough to create you. So that is just simply one of the things I faced, but I learned how to go about it. But now, one of the professionally, again, remember, as I mentioned earlier on, it was difficult for me to define even a professional career I was going to get into. The reason being that when I came to the United States, it was a total different environment for me. So now I had a lot of passion in teaching because I was a teacher back home. But now, how was I going to go about it? How was I going to go about the system? And so because again the requirements were just too much for me to really integrate so easily and so on. So those were some of the struggles I had during the period. When I started to work in cybersecurity, the major problem I had was the issue of mentorship. Who is going to mentor me? You can have so many teachers that are going to teach you, they give you knowledge, you pay them, and after that you go your way. But now, who is going to mentor you professionally? Who is going to give you advice? This is how things have to work. This is how you have to do it. This is how you have to go. That one was just a very big challenge. And that is why, again, I will still encourage all the young entrepreneurs listening to me. You cannot succeed as an entrepreneur if you don't have anybody that you mirror. You need a mentor at one point that is going to hold your hand and say, hey, I am going to show you the way. Why? Because in every profession, there are secrets. If you are not within a certain profession, you may not understand the secrets of that profession until you are deep into that profession before you actually can be shown the way and so on. So again, by the grace of God, I got into IT. And how did I get into IT? I just simply, I was walking one day in the shop, that was in a retail shop here in the US, and I happened to help somebody, and that person was very, very happy. That was an African. He told me, hey, I am doing a certain program, computer program. If you come and do it, I think that is going to help you. You are going to excel. We're going to succeed. I'm saying, what? I asked him, what? Are you sure? He said, yes. I followed him and I went there for the program. And that was how basically I got training. And before I realized it, I actually landed my first job. And that was how, again, I began my career in IT. But believe me, it has been very, very tough to have a mentor. Working or networking is just an issue, especially if you're an African. When I say you're an African, because sometimes we Africans would like to associate just with Africans. And unfortunately, you might even associate with Africans that do not even have the same mindset, the same vision that you have. And because of that, it becomes difficult for you to have a real mentor that is going to mentor you. Or perhaps some of your friends that you may find within your circle of professionalism may have the same level of mindset with you, the same level of education with you. So if that be the case, who is going to take you higher? Who is going to take you higher? Which means that, it doesn't matter where you are today with your career. I'm using my example just as a mirror for those of you listening to me. You might actually be in a stage in your life right now whereby all your friends, all the people you know in your circle are people with the same knowledge that you have. The truth is that you will never grow beyond just what you are right now unless you have a mentor who is above all your circle, who will be more than willing and happy to be able to take you further. So there are so many challenges we can talk about it, but it's just generic. So I don't know if the few example I gave has been able to help you, or you need something else to be more amplified on my end. Esther, are you there?
Yes, I am still here. Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, that's already eye-opening. Thank you for taking us through your journey. So, moving on to the next question. Can you share one pivotal decision or turning point that completely changed your business trajectory in the United States? One pivotal decision.
Well, again, my ability to be open to new ideas is just basically what has brought me where I am today. Because you can never know everything in your life. Even the Bible says that he that thinks that he knows it all, let him take it, because he doesn't know the way he ought to have known, right? So coming to the US and not even and seeing the culture being different from what I actually aspired or hoped for, it was a whole disaster, a challenge for me. But at least being able to listen and take direction for people who have been there and for people who know something that I don't know has been one of those major things that has changed me today. If I said in the very beginning, when this friend of mine spoke to me about IT and I said, oh, leave me alone. I mean, who cares? I'm contented to writing. I want to be a teacher and so on. I won't have been where I am today. So which means sometimes what you have in mind as your initial vision is good, but in terms of execution, you may not have the resources at that particular moment. But somebody might speak to you, hey, why don't you do A, B before you come back and do A? And sometimes when you listen to it, that's just the best decision that you need for your life. And that is just basically what has changed me to be who I am today. Just imagine me living from a background in literature and English and a background in theology. and just for me to be in cybersecurity. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, some people today can't still figure out why should you or how did you ever leave literature, or how did you transition from just literature to cybersecurity? And those are two different and contrary domains. They are polar opposite and so on. I said, well, sometimes you have to listen and discern the seasons and the time, like the children of Issachar. If you can do so, you can discern and take the right decision sometimes, then they are going to help you. And that was what happened to me. Okay.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Yes, I'm still here. I'm just multitasking. Please forgive me.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is starting a cybersecurity business in the United States, especially as an African immigrant. What were the biggest obstacles you faced, and how did you overcome those obstacles?
Well, again, as I said in the very beginning, for me to start a cybersecurity business, I will not simply say business, because my goal for cybersecurity came as a result of the necessity and the need that I saw. And this need came as a result to the fact that when I was transitioning or starting a career in cybersecurity, I had difficulties to find a mentor. Nobody ever held my hand to say, this is how things go. As a matter of fact, I attended a boot camp or training program, and that was it. And after that, I was on my own. I struggled, but nobody was there to help me. I remember I had gone through about 20 to 25 interviews, and I was never hired. Consecutively, I went through this interview, I was never hired. And I got so frustrated because I was doing something wrong. I never knew what I was doing wrong. And there was nobody that could actually help me as well. Or nobody was there to direct me and to tell me that, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. And a few people that I knew that were already there teaching, or who had some few experience, they were going to put their prices so high, so high, so high, so high. So, which means it became so difficult for me even to even figure out where to start. But one of the things I'm most encouraged is I used the little experience I had acquired with my first job, and I started doing research. People started coming to me, hey, I want to join cybersecurity. Hey, how do I begin? So I took it upon me as a burden to do a lot of research. And that was how I started designing cybersecurity programs to be able to mentor other people, and all the mistakes I made and all the obstructions I had, I was able to teach them and to bring it to them for them to avoid those same pitfalls, for them to be able to succeed where they are today. So I don't know if that answers your question, or you have further questions follow up.
Esther, you have a network issue.
Yeah, that answers my question. But I would like to ask, because most people believe that starting up a business in the United States is about tax paying, immigration and several clearance and all of that. Did you have issues with that?
On the contrary, having a business in the United States is one of the most lucrative things that you can do as an African, because there are so many advantages that a lot of people may not know. When I say advantages, it's just because our people are not really informed as far as these benefits are concerned. Now, for example, when you have a business registration, you can have a limited liability, right? You registered with the IRS. All what you just need to do is less than $500 to register a business. When you register a business, you give it a legal name, and you are not restricted to the type of business you want to do, provided the business is not illegal. And when you register that business, you have a business name. Of course, you are going to have some, maybe every year you are going to have to spend about $300 for compliance purpose, or to keep up to be in good standing with your business. But hey, listen to me. When you work, instead of you being paid directly on a W-2, whereby their company takes taxes and send it directly to, part of it goes directly to the IRS and so on, or the withhold at least part of the money. You can decide to pay your taxes under your own corporation, which means that there are expenditures that you do that you can decide therefore to put them under the company, and all those expenditures are going to be what? Non-taxable, or they are going to be what they call tax deductible and so on. So it never hurts for you to have a business, provided that business is illegal. As a matter of fact, that is the easiest thing for you to have right here. The only issue is maybe maintaining the cost per year, or maybe maintaining documentation, archiving, or maybe having a business account, so that if tomorrow you are being audited, then you have a tangible account, or you have tangible evidence that you can actually give and so on. But believe me, that's one of the easiest things that you can do right here in the United States.
Okay, that answers my question, sir. So let's move on to the next question. What do you think African entrepreneurs often underestimate when it comes to building a business in a global market?
Well, first of all, I think that one of the reasons why they have that inferiority complex is they feel that they are not knowledgeable enough. They don't have enough capacity. You know, for you to be able to compete in the global market, you need to actually have a full control over your brand. If you have a full control over your brand, you are good to go, period. And I will surprise you, my fellow brothers, Africans. In the United States, most companies, they hire out of the United States because the labor is cheap. And the people also know their job. Do you know that when it comes to the IT industry, the people who are dominating right now are the Indians? Let's be sincere. They are the Indians, right? But my question is, do they speak better English than some of us? My question is, do they have the same level of degree that we have? But they are dominating all over the place. Look at training platforms. Look at marketing. Go on Udemy. Go on Amazon. Most of the people there. Look at medical doctors. Most of them are Indians. My question is, what distinguishes them? They don't have two heads. They don't have the best universities like some of us have attended. The issue is that be confident about yourself. And most of us, as I mentioned earlier on, we don't have good mentors. We have not been fully mentored. We are not prepared. We are not ready. And that is why we feel that it's so burdensome. And you will see, we always like to camouflage. Oh, this type of job is meant for the white collar. Oh, this type of job is meant for this. Oh, this type of job is meant for this. No. When you prepare yourself, when you are ready, when you prepare yourself, you will succeed. Let me give you guys a simple insight. Look at France today. Look at France national team, football team. How many people who play in France are French born? Most of the players in the French national team right now, are they not Africans? They are, right? Are they not solicited all over the world? People like the Kylian Mbappe, just to name a very few. That tells you that, again, if you have the talent, you have the education, you have the means, what it takes, you can command the world wherever you are. It doesn't matter whether you're in America. It doesn't matter whether you're in Cameroon. It doesn't matter whether you're under the water. But in as much as you have what it takes in you to command your world, the area of influence where you have been called, you will succeed. Look at this Facebook today. The highest influencers today that people watch are from Nigeria. Talk about Mark Angel Comedy. Talk about Sabinos. I mean, a lot of Americans spend time to watch them, right? But they are just there in Nigeria. See how many people are following them. I think a few days ago I was looking at Emanuela. Emanuela, I think she had about 17 million and so on. I know she used to ask with Mark Angel, but even though it may not seem to be together. But listen, these are people who are in Africa and they have talent and they are making waves. What about you? If you're in the United States and you have such a talent, you have all the media at your disposal. You have everything that you can market yourself. The talent is one of the things that cannot be bought. Believe me, everybody can go to school and learn how to read ABC. But when you have a talent in you, that talent is inborn. Nobody can take it away from you. They can fire you from a job, but they can never fire you from your talent. And that is why anybody who spends more time on job, you are sharpening your skills for a job. That's sharpening your skills for your talent. You are already a loser. You will never go anywhere because you will still remain a slave. You will still remain a beggar. And they can kick you out at any time. They can kick you out at any time. Let me give a simple example. Today, we are now using Teams to communicate. But believe me, they can decide to shut it off right now. Right? They can decide to shut it off right now because somebody owns that product, but you own that talent. Look at, for example, again, let me go back to the issue of maybe brain jotter, right? They have been known all over the world because of Facebook and social media. But guess what? Does it mean that before social media came, they were not talented? No, they were talented. Social media only came to give them exposure and so on. So if you think that Africans entrepreneurs are often underestimated, no. Building business in the global market, no. That is just simply a Western philosophy to make people believe that blacks are dumb. Blacks are not dumb. Look at history very well. You will see that blacks have always dominated history. They have dominated politics. They have dominated business and so on. Look at what is happening in Burkina Faso today. Is it not one of the most intellectual presidents that is leading the world today? Why do you think that people, the US, France, and all the Western countries are so afraid of a man called Ibrahim Traore? He's just there in Burkina Faso, but he's shaking the world. International Monetary Fund, they're panicking. Everybody, they're panicking. The Western world. That tells you that if you think that you cannot have influence at a global level, it's just your mindset. As a matter of fact, as a man thinker, so is it. If you think that you cannot have influence, if you think that to be an entrepreneur, you cannot get there, you're wasting your time. You have the talent, put the talent out there. Michael Jackson believed he had the talent, he put the talent out there. How many people have been able to beat this record today? Nobody. Nobody has been able to beat his talents today. As a matter of fact, talent I want to sell you because that is unique. People cannot replicate your talent, but they can replicate your idea, business idea. That is the truth about it. Look at Nigeria, when they talk about football, Okocha. How many people can play like Okocha? In all the club that he played, a lot of people don't want to be like him. He was their king.
I can play like him.
Of course, no problem. If you can play by him, he still remains a king. Look at Pele. Right now, even if you beat Pele's record tomorrow, Pele still remains the best. Right? Because he has inspired so many people. So talent is one of those things that they cannot take it away from you. So if you have a talent, you believe that you are talented, please, it doesn't matter whether they are most educated, whether they are white, or they are black, or whatever be the case. Stand tall, you will succeed. And the reason why some people, Africans may feel that entrepreneurs, they are not, or they are underestimated, complex. Because we have been drilled in our brain that nothing good comes from Africa or Africans. You are only good to be beggars. You are only good to be beggars. No, you are not. We have attained the level of reawakening whereby we now know our self-worth. If you feel that you have been marginalized, it's just because you yourself, you have not big capacity. Look at Dangote with refinery. Can other people, even in Nigeria, in America, England, can they compete with him? Is he not African? Is he not living in Nigeria? The best medical doctors, entrepreneurs, some are not Nigerians in the US. So why do you say that Africans are underestimated? No, you are underestimating yourself. Don't generalize. What have you done with the talent that God has given you? The Bible says study to show yourself approved, right? Study, build yourself, build capacity. So again, we still have much to offer in the market. In the global market, we have much to offer. Are you a fashion designer? We have much to offer. Much to offer. Look at Africa today. They make you feel that you have nothing to offer? No. Can the Western world survive without Africa? No way. No way. Countries like France, look at them. They will tell you that they're first or the second gold reserve in the world. The question is, do they produce gold? No. Where is that gold coming from? Black Africa. So you have what it takes to govern the world, but through your ignorance, you let other people govern you, and then you complain. No, you blame yourself. In my country, Cameroon is a from Botukunandame Fondos. A foolish man. It's like, how can I even put this one? There's a language I'm struggling to recall right here. So, in fact, as far as you are done, you are going to be a wise man's walking stick. When you decide to build capacity, you will always be used by the wise people as a walking stick to support their vision and ideology. Look at people like the Israelites or the Israel. When they go somewhere, the very first thing they do, they can work for 1-2 years, but they have a business plan in mind. Look at the Chinese, for example. As some of you spend all time to insult them, will not like Chinese women because they don't get backside, all those things. But believe me, when they go anywhere they go, they open businesses. They succeed. They invade the market. But we Africans, some of us, we complain. We complain. We always find excuses to complain. Oh, you have more than it takes to govern. The question is, what have you done with the talent that God has given you? What have you done with that? Remember the parable of the talent. To some, he gave 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course, he gave according to their ability. But when it came to ask, some people said, hey, this is what we have been able to do with the talent, we multiply. Some people say, hey, I know you're a wicked taskmaster. You come and ask where you have not, you did not give. And I went and buried mine. And people who complain that Africans are underestimated are those that have buried their talent. They have buried their talents. Are you among them? You went to school, you thought that school was everything it takes? No. Look at the education you receive back home and look at the education that is received back in China. While you are there reciting Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, they are teaching them there how to be folks. You want to compete with them? And then when you live there, you are just going to be contented. That is all. That is, I went to school, I have a PhD. PhD in what? Writing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star when you cannot power on a computer? No, sir. When you grow to a certain level where you become conscious, please make sure that you develop yourself. Develop yourself. You can't develop. The wise people will use you as their walking stick. They will use you as their doormat. But believe me, Africans will take over. It's a matter of time. And that is why you see they're trying to suppress us. But don't allow your gift to be suppressed. They can suppress their resources, but they cannot suppress your talent. That's one thing. They can suppress your talent, their resources, but they will not suppress your talent. If you have not even built any talent or developed your talent, then you're finished. You're going to be suppressed to the power too. Well, Esther, I hope I've not taken much of your time.
No, sir. You're still right on time. Thank you. In fact, I've been having so many words on Marvel. First one, they can sack you from a job, but not from a talent. And the second one, hey, Jesus, what's the word? Talent. And since no one is underestimating you, so let me echo this out again, as Mr. Fabrice has said. No one is underestimating you, so do not underestimate yourself. Even if no one is applauding for you, applaud yourself. Mr. Fabrice, am I right?
For sure.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay, so
The
let's move on
under-
to the next question. I'm with you, sir.
I said the underestimate you prove them wrong. If they say you cannot play, say
Yeah,
give me the signal, let me go and play. You put it there, you play, everybody will see. If you can do the job, they will say bravo.
yeah. Bravo. Thank you. Okay, so let me move on to the next question before we take our question from the audience. If you had to sum up the top three factors that contributed to your success, what would they be? The top three factors.
One of the things I would tell you, to be very honest, is resilience and faith. Okay? Resilience and what? Faith. When I say resilience and faith, resilience is about holding tight to what you believe in as an entrepreneur, because you'll be tested, you'll be tried. A moment will come, you ask yourself the question, well, do you think I can make it again? No, you'll be tested. And what keeps your anchor is your faith. If you don't have faith in what you are doing, faith in the supernatural, faith in that dream that you are going to get in there, you will not last for long. That's one of the things that is there. No matter how challenging things get, the company is going down. You say, I know we are going to rise again. Secondly, continuous learning. You can never overlearn, but you can just underlearn. I know we Africans, we have a mentality that, hey, as far as you go to school, you go to college, and you have your first degree, you have your master's degree, you stop learning, because you measure your worth, your learning capacity by the number of degrees that you already have. If I tell somebody that today I have 2 master's degree and I'm still going back to school to learn, they will say, Abi, what are you not tired with school? No, I'm not tired of learning. It's not about school. The degree I have is just a reward that they give me for learning. If I choose to study anything, I have the means to do so. Then at the end of it, they give me a piece of paper. That is just a reward. But many of us, we just want to, hey, I already have a master's degree. Why do I need one? I already have 1 doctorate degree. Why do I need one? No, you can never overlearn. You can just underlearn. I so unfortunate, so many of us, we are not learning. We want to excel with the knowledge that we had so many years ago. And to tell you that so many of us, you listening to me right here, we are not growing. If I look at your email right now, I said, let me see your email. Some of you are still using yahoo.com. And of course, there's nothing wrong with that. But the world has evolved. Gmail, it has a lot of capabilities that you can use in the cloud. And if you don't have even Gmail, that tells that you may not even know some of the benefit of what you have. So that tells you that learning is a process. It's a continuous process, because you improve yourself in the process. The only day you stop learning is when you die. As a matter of fact, they say when you rest, you rust. So many of us are rusting right now because we are resting. Okay? Even the people who make all the billions out there, the Bill Gates, do you think that they are resting? No, even when they are quiet, their brains are working like a computer. And the third factor here is relationships and integrity. Remember that if you're a successful entrepreneur, the people who are going to make you rich are the people you are working with, the relationship that you have. And you need to be integrity right there. That's why you see most of our fun influencers, they will always say, oh, we want to thank and acknowledge our fans. It's because of you that I had this award. Why? Because you need one another. Don't come to a point where you are so arrogant. Get out. You know who I am? Oh, without me, who can compete with me? I'm the best singer. I am Davido. Yes, Davido will not be anything today if not because of the fans that are listening to him. Is it true of us? If we sing his music and people decide not to buy, no matter how good he is, you think he'll be rich? No. So that should tell you that relationship, building a relationship and integrity is another thing that you need to understand. Work with integrity. Some people, they cannot go anywhere. Why? Because any relationship around them, they have abused the relationship. You have abused trust. You have abused confidence in a way that if you are dying today, you cannot even knock at the door and say, my brother, please, I'm dying. Give me $5. Let me go and buy medication. You abuse relationship because you thought you were traveling from Nigeria to the US or to the UK and you will never see those people again. No, you will ever see them. Some of them, because you travel out of your country, you forgot about your old classmates that are still struggling in Africa because you think you don't have anything to do with them. You have arrived. No, you need them more than they need you. That is just simply how it is. Because they are the people who will promote you. They are the people who will brand you. They are the people who will place you where you want to go. Remember, Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 2 says, write down the vision and make it plain, so that those that see the vision, they will run with the vision. You can have the vision, but some people need to run with that. And the people who run with the vision are the relationship that you build. And for you to build and sustain that relationship, you need integrity. So those are my 3 pillars. Number 1, resilience and faith. Number 2, continuous learning. Number 3, relationship and integrity.
All right.
I don't know if that answers.
Yeah, that answers the question. Thank you, sir. So let's take a pause here. Audience, do we have questions? Now is the time to ask your question. Unmute and ask your question. We have 5 minutes. Any question?
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm fine. My
Good
name is
evening.
Dorcas. I really appreciate your story and everything you have done. I want to ask a question.
Sure.
Being a salary worker now, and averagely you are earning well.
Being a what?
I'm a salary worker now.
Yes.
Averagely, I'm earning well. I hold a key position. I'm a chartered accountant, a fellow from chartered accountant. And I have businesses. I love business. Business is my work, providing solutions, creating products. I'm into food business, creating new products. I can just sleep and wake up and have some new products coming into my mindset. I believe it's God that is giving me. But my issue is I am still a salary worker. And personnel are not easy to handle when you have your own business and you just employ people to manage it. The vision you are having, most of them don't see it. Let me use that word. When you even tell them this is what you want to achieve at the long run, the way they will do the business for you. And my own business, like now, my own business is my own office work is time consuming too. How do you advise somebody like me who is scared of leaving a salary job? Too, I'm really scared of leaving my salary job. So I really want an advice from you on how to do this. I don't have the vision, I have the relationship, I have everything, but how do I do this?
Let me ask you this question, okay? You have a salary job. Does somebody pay you or you pay yourself?
They pay me.
Okay, so which means that person can fire you at any time without your authorization, right?
Yes, basically.
Because that person hires you, you have to work according to how that person has hired you. When you work for somebody, the things that you cannot control is one, you will not control when the person can pay your increase. We increase your salary. You don't control that. He does that at his own will. Number 2, he can fire you anytime at will. Number 3, you work in businesses where you have never seen the owner, right? The owner is somewhere. You have never seen the owner. Some owners don't even live anymore, but their businesses keep holding you captive. As a matter of fact, you are in the web. Whether you are afraid or you are not afraid, a time will come when you will see that business will not need you anymore. They will tell you, hey, we need other people, we need, and so on. So which means that when God has given you the opportunity, the way God has given you, it's time for you to use that opportunity now that you have strength. The Bible says the glory of young men is their strength. Now that you have the glory, which is your strength, you have to have the vision. First, again, one of the problems I see with a lot of Africans is that if you are working for somebody, some of the times we don't even realize the time that has been allocated for us. If you are working for somebody, let's say you start work at 8 a.m. and then you finish at 5 p.m. Now, already from 8 to 5 p.m. doesn't belong to you. That time belongs to your boss. The only time that belongs to you is from 6 p.m. right up to maybe the next 6 a.m. Now, what happens with most of us is that, so when we leave in the morning, we go and come back at 5 p.m. and from 6 p.m., that time belongs to us. That is the time that we are supposed to use to build our own business. And most of the time, we are very lazy. Sometimes you come back, you say, oh, I'm tired. I need to relax. I need to be from one party to the other. From 6 p.m. maybe to 10, you are in a friend's house. You are watching TV. You are relaxing. You are doing this and that. And from 10 and up, you say you are tired. Let me go to bed. You go and sleep and you wake up at 5 a.m. You start getting ready. From 6, you are out. You go to work. But now the question is, what quality time have you spent to invest in your own self? That is the first question right there. And that is the routine that a lot of us will have. And we don't have time to invest in our own selves. Now, you have to write the vision and make it plain. The Bible says, write down the vision and make it plain. You are going to have dishonest people, yes, but it is your responsibility to drill down that vision in the mind of the people. If the people are not serious, move them, bring in other people who are serious and who are willing to work with your vision, right? The reason why are you still in the company where you are today is just because maybe you are being paid very well, maybe because you believe in the vision of the company where you are working with, and that is why you are faithful to them and they are making money. So if you want other people to be faithful to you, drill down the vision in them. If they are not willing to work with the vision, then they were never meant for the vision. Let them go. And God is going to bring the right people for you. So today, when people look at me, they say, we don't understand how you do it. How can you be publishing books and you are teaching, you're a father, you're a husband? What time do you have to write books? I say, yes, I know where this vision is going to take me to. I am working today. They can let me go at any time. They can fire me at any time. But my talent in me, nobody can take it away from me. When you go on retirement tomorrow, what do you be? As far as life is concerned, there are different phases in life. The first phase in life is between 0 to 25 years. That is the year what I call the morning phase of your life. You go to school, you learn from your parents, you learn from the society, and so on. From the period of 26 years to the period of 50 years, that is the age, what they call the afternoon stage of your life. And during that period is the period of what they call implementation. You implement everything that you have ever done. It might be your business, you might be working, and you implement your business. At the age of 51 to the age of let's say 75, that is what they call the evening stage of your life. That is a stage of legacy, whereby you become the boss, you become the ogre, you control. You look at it, you give instruction. This is what I want. This is how the vision, you control. And from 76 and up is the next stage of your life. That is the stage where you can die at any time. So you have to understand this 4 partition of your life. If you miss the partition of your life, you are going to struggle. Whether you choose to stand firm right now and implement the vision or not, a time will come that you will say, had I known, I would have already stepped up to implement that vision. Because what you don't do right now, as they always say, that the least that you don't kill today shall become a dragon tomorrow to fight you. Which, of course, you have to implement that vision right now. You have to sacrifice time. You have to make sure that you bring people who are serious. Anybody is not serious, yes, I love you, but you are not good for me. We cannot work together right now. The Bible says, can 2 work together unless they agree? That's the question. I don't know if that was able to help you or answer your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
So you have to make that decision. When God has given that to you, that is the only way for you to be independent. Remember that we are working for companies today that whose founders are no longer alive. You have never seen them and you will never see them. If you are fortunate enough that God has given you the vision and the talent, and you've been able to put it together, then push for that vision. You come back from work, stop awesome parties. They don't invite you in a birthday, thank you. Don't go. Sit there. Be your own life. Be your brand. Teach people how to run with a vision. Invest in them. If you can invest in them, some of them will be ungrateful, some will be grateful, and they will return back the favor to you.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate, sir.
You are welcome, Dorcas. Any other question?
Is there any other question from anyone? You can raise your hand or mute your mic. Do you have questions or you need clarity on any part of the responses so far? We can take one more question before we bring things to a wrap. If you are shy to ask your question, you can use the comment section.
Well,
Please, if you have anyone,
I shouldn't be shy. So how are you going to be talking to people?
you know, some might be, and they might have a very vital question. So let's permit that. Just one more question, then we'll bring things to a wrap. Esther, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Any question
Hello?
from anyone? Yeah,
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, in the
Ruth,
absence of question,
Ruth's
does
hand
anybody
is
want to
raised.
say something?
Oh, Peter.
Okay, Ruth, can you unmute? Let's hear you.
Downloading.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My question is that let's look at a scenario where someone is above 60 years and she's a pastor and she really wants to work but has been instructed like she should not work, and she's a pastor. What do you advise that person can do? I don't know if you understand my question, please.
I more than understand your question. My first question to you, instructed by who not to work?
By God.
You see, this is always a challenge that we Pentecostal we have as far as religion is concerned. Okay, and that's why you see all this rubbish of how the prosperity gospel has gone around and so on. Because at one point you become like beggars and so on. You see, the concept of full-time ministry is this. It's simple for me, my understanding. Please forgive my language. Full-time ministry means that if God has given you the grace to be a businessman or a businesswoman, that is one talent right there. If God has given you the grace to be able to preach, that is one talent. If God has given you the grace to be a husband or a mother, that is one talent right there. So together you have 3 talents in this case, right? So if you only invest your time in preaching, that is good. But at the end of the day, do you think you're a full-time ministry? No, you're not a full-time ministry for me. Because you have only used one talent that God has given you. What about entrepreneurship? What about the businesses that you were supposed to build? And so on. So we have to further correct our mindset. Go to the scripture. Paul, who wrote most of the epistles in the New Testament, he was a tent maker. True or false? The Gospel of Luke, he was a doctor. True or false? If there was somebody God would tell them not to work, they were the people God would even ask them not to work. Why? Because that was the very moment that we needed the gospel. God needed full-time attention. But that did not disturb them from actually fulfilling their duty. Remember that to be a pastor is not a job, it's a calling. So if you make a calling a job, then at one point, blame yourself. Don't say God will tell you not to work. There can be exception whereby if you have a mega church where the church can take care of your needs, that is different. Okay? But most pastors, they have businesses. If you cannot work because it will control your time, there are business ideas that God gives you. What have you done with the business idea? Most of the time, if we are 60 and we say God said we shouldn't work, no. We had so many opportunities that God brought your way for you to be financially independent. God is not there to torture you or torture us. I'm talking to you as a pastor myself. It's not something that I just imagine. No. Do I preach? Yes. Every Sunday I'm there preaching, but I'm still working. I still develop potentials in other areas. Of course, at the age of 60, there are a lot of things that you have already missed. If you have to go and work, who is going to be employing you at 60? At 60, you should be celebrating, you should be building legacy. And if you do not build the legacy and you are 60, that becomes a serious problem, a retirement crisis. Let me give you a simple analogy. Do you know that most pastors, when they die, their children suffer a lot? Their wives suffer a lot? Because they carry a grace that can sustain that church. People will support them. But when they are no more, their children may not have the same capacity to maintain the people, the vision of the church. And when they start going down, people start getting discouraged, they start leaving the ministry, and that is how they start lacking financial support. And before you realize, the ministry is overclosed, and they start struggling financially. They start living on welfare. No. We just need to change our mindset. If indeed you hold to the fact that God said you shouldn't work, then God should tell you what to do, how to fit you. I don't believe in just what you see there. You have two hands and you don't want to do anything. You say, God, tell me I shouldn't work. Yes, I mean, if God tells you not to work, then God should look for a way to fit you. What are those days, Elijah's, where they will send raven to come and fit you, and so on? Let's be realistic, believers. Just be realistic. Cast your bread upon the waters, and after so many days, you will see them. And the Bible tells you that, again, invest. It is proper for you to invest in 7, at most 8 ventures to have means of what revenue. Cast your bread upon the waters, and you shall find them after many days. So if you have to block other avenues that God has given to you, just because all what you carry on your head is ministry, it's good. Ministry is a calling, it's not a job. It's not a career. And people like that, you see, after a while, they start compromising. Oh, bring tithes. Oh, the Bible says this. Oh, New Testament will argue from morning to evening about tithes in the New Testament. I'm not criticizing anybody. Again, that it has been a recurrent trend. A lot of people are struggling with that, but it needs to be corrected at one point. I always tell people, if you have to go to school, it's good, pray, leave church, go to school, get capacity. That is more useful. And that's why today, Africa, we spend a lot of time to pray. Why China is not developing? Look at China. Do you see how many religions do you see there compared to Africa? Are they not doing well? We need to revive ourselves and change our mindset. Do not be conformed to this current system, but be thou transformed by the renewal of your mind. At 60, of course, you can only become a consultant. The question is, what skills do you have apart of religion? One of my things, when I came here, I went to the seminary because I wanted to be a top theologian, scholar of the Bible. But believe me, that would have made me even more frustrated, because who was going to employ me with just a theological degree? A part of the seminary that they will employ me, but how many seminaries are going to employ me with a theological degree? But God said, go into cybersecurity. And then in cybersecurity, I've been able to make a lot of exploits, train people who are believers and not believers. I mean, these are the things that we need to carry in our mindset. Unfortunately, at 60, there's not much you can do except you're a consultant. And for you to be a consultant, you need to go back to the skills that you build during the morning stage of your life, during the afternoon stage of your life, and during the evening stage of your life. I don't know if I make sense of what I'm saying. That's why you see anything prosperity gospel, it really, really irritates the church right now. Because that dispensation is fading gradually to a higher dispensation. God wants you to be financially independent. That has always been God's mindset. But it's sometimes very challenging. But somebody said, God has told me this. Well, it's very, very difficult. You say, if you say God has told you that, to interpret your mind otherwise. But this one, I'm just going to speak subjectively, just as Paul says. Even in the book of First Corinthians chapter 7, there are moments that Paul is going to give his personal opinion, just like I'm giving my personal opinion right now in this issue, because this has to do with a matter of faith. If you say God said, I wasn't there to say it is true or not, but I can only give you my own opinion to what I think per my experiences. I'm not sure if that was able to help you. Maybe it was a little bit tough for you, but just forgive me for that, but I'm just being realistic.
Thank you very much, sir. That was helpful. I really appreciate it.
That's why you see right now in Nigeria, we see a lot of people like Pastor Damina. There are a lot of things that they are trying to break from the church, but it's difficult because a lot of the church has made a lot of worth. They just want to hold to a lot of old things that they have been so comfortable. When he wants to preach on certain things, they will criticize him. Because we have been so comfortable to be on a certain, I'm not saying I'm supporting him, but I'm just saying that that is just simply how the church is. And people have the different mindset they will look at things. But believe me, all this thing of prosperity gospel is changing. You must have something to do in the kingdom of God. Unless you have maybe very big church that they can take care of your needs. But the question is not about your needs, it's about your generation. If you are no longer there, who takes care of you or who takes care of your need? That's the question. And that's why you see sometimes children of preachers, they never like to follow their father's faith or their mother's faith. Why? Because they were good preachers and the good missionaries, they took care of them. And after that, the children were suffering. They could not eat very well. They could not go to school because there were no means of income. What have they taught their children as business to transfer to the next generation? Nothing. The only thing they taught them is all about the gospel. The gospel. When they finish now, they grew up now speaking in tongues, but they don't have food to eat. At the end of the day, even the gospel they are preaching doesn't make sense to them anymore, because a hungry man is an angry man. So there are a lot of things to correct with that theology. My sister Ruth, there are a lot of things to correct with that theology, okay? So unfortunately, there's no one right answer to that. But again, it's just subjective.
Amazing, really. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was actually very, very helpful. Well, when she was asking the question, I was already asking myself, well, thank God we have a pastor. Mr. Fabrice is a pastor for those that don't know. And I think you actually did justice to that. I tend to wonder myself how you get to manage all of these things. You're a pastor, you're cybersecurity expert, you're a writer, you're a poet, and you find okay, for somebody that might not already know, we work so well. That's why I know most of these things. Sometimes I see Mr. Fabrice in my DM in the middle of the night and I'm asking myself, is this man now sleeping?
They will tell you. And all the times I can't tell you how many times I bombard his stuff, but I still have to do what I have to do. Because remember that time is not waiting for anybody. There's a time in life that if you fail to do what you have to do, you will regret later on. Believe me, you will regret later on. I told you that every human life is divided into four: the morning stage, the afternoon stage, the evening, and the night stage. And Chinua Achebe says, don't be a fool at 40, because a fool at 40 is a fool forever. Right? So when you miss certain things and then you want to try to recuperate at 40, 50, it's already too late. It's like me at my age today. There are things I cannot do in terms of gymnastics. I see my children, they will somersault up and down. But if you ask me to do it, I'm going to think about all the possible risks. I'm going to think about my bones. Will I break my bones? I will say, I will not do it. But I say, Daddy is weak, but they will not understand that Daddy is already old.
Amazing, really. Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Fabrice. Well, just to chip in a little, I just remembered from the question, the formal, I think it's a little tied together from what the two questions that were asked. I would just, well, maybe the Holy Spirit just means that me sharing this experience actually, because we might actually pick one or two things from it. There's one of the clients I'm currently working with now. She's doing amazingly well, or she used to do amazingly well. Let me just put it that way. She works as a salary earner. Let me put it that way. She's already in her 60s, planning to retire already. And what actually brought us together was the fact that she came crying to me actually. Because actually, literally, actually, she was crying. Now, why was she crying? She was like, well, I've lived all my life working for someone, and in all of my experience, I don't really feel fulfilled. Yeah, I am planning my retirement, and probably I was not paying attention. Down, this is according to our own words. Probably I was not paying attention to what the Holy Spirit has been ministering to me right from my growing up. There were some things I would have actually loved to do for myself, and I do not really see myself doing it. Or should I just put it, yeah, I could not really see myself doing all of that. But what am I picking from all of this story is the fact that he he came very, very, very late for her. He came very late for her. And I want us to pick some lessons from this. Is the fact that when the Holy Spirit ministers some things to you, you shouldn't wait for so long. Or how attentive are you even? I think that's even like important thing, just like a radio station. Sometimes we are not actually in tuned or attuned to listening. Sometimes, just like your radio station, like I mentioned, it is only when you turn or tune into a particular station that you hear clearly what actually is being discussed at that particular period in time. And most of us, we are so distracted and we are actually not synced in or in tune at that particular period until it's very, very late. So what I would just like to share with you is don't wait till it's too late before you actually start. Because as much as you might feel like you are making the money in your business, how about the fulfillment part? How about what you actually want to grow for yourself? Now, fine, not everyone will do a business. I think I have to also mention that business is not really for, should I say it's not for everyone? Because I know some persons that would never ever do a business. It's not really for everyone, but just know your reason or know your calling, know your talent, know what you are good at, and ensure that you are pursuing it. Not, it should not actually take you away from your major other part of your businesses or at the salary and now whatsoever that you are doing, but at least ensure that you have something to fall back on, ensure that you have a good retirement plan, ensure that importantly, you did not also start your business because you want to make money. Understand that your business first is for people. You should understand that your business first is to be a solution to someone's problem, to someone's need, and that's the only thing that can actually make you thrive, be sustained, that can actually keep you in business in the long way. That's what basically will keep you from continuously having people requesting or wanting to buy from you. Just like Mr. Fabry says, those three things, three important things, like he mentioned. Number one thing is holding on to your resilience and faith. Know the reason why you're even doing all of these things. Know who your backing is in. And this is what we teach in the mustard circle. Our base or our background or our understanding is the fact that we don't live out the place of God, basically in the place of our growth, in the place of sustainability, in the place of actually fulfilling God's plan for our life. You can't live out the mastercraft. That's number one. And it's, like you mentioned, you should continuously learn. Someone that is not learning will be thrown out of the market. Trust me, if you are not learning, even as a salary and now as a business person, if you don't know the new things or the latest things or things that can actually move your business forward or what your customers even want in your product, what they want yesterday might quite be different from what they want today. And if you are not updating yourself, now this is me just speaking in different space, not just focusing on one. There are a lot of things you can actually pick from that. Your customers are basically the reason why you are in business. And once they back down, trust me, you would enter bankruptcy, and that's just the end of you. So you want to ensure that you are continuously learning, updating yourself. You know, like I said, you're a solution to people's problem. And you have to continuously remain a solution to people's problem in your business. And the final thing that you mentioned is the place of relationship and integrity. They are very, very vital. Okay, I started the mustard circle. Glory to God. I am Mr. Fabrice, who've been working for quite a while now, going to almost not even more than 5 years. Now, what are like the things I can pick from this? Now, I can bring him on board. Why is it easy for me to really discuss with him and have him come join us today? It's a place of relationship. As you grow in life, as you move on, there would always be the place of building relationship, and integrity matters a lot. You don't sell because you want to sell now, like I would always tell people, either in a business, or you don't sell because of today, you sell because of tomorrow. That is ensuring that whoever is buying from you today would not regret buying from you. Let me just put it that way. Or whoever is patronizing you today would not regret patronizing you. And that's because you are so customer centric, in the sense that you understand that I'm selling to this man today because I understand that he has the potential of still growing me into becoming bigger and better than I am tomorrow. He can refer others to me. That is if I give him satisfied, and that's how I can grow that branch and that tree. Thank you. Yeah, Esther, let me hand it over back to you. I just had to share that. Thank you, everyone. Esther.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Fabrice. Mr. David, thank you, sir. You guys have been sharing a lot, and
You are the boss.
whether you have a calling and everybody has a talent, I want to believe that we're all taking keen notes so we can all go back to all that has been said. Sincerely, thank you so much. And Mr. Fabrice, or should I say Pastor Fabrice? Thank you, sir. Thank you. You've been sharing a
The
whole lot of
easiest word
things.
is
Put his
Sir?
title
the
also there.
just call me Mr. Fabrice. That's all.
Zafar, what's that your title again?
Okay.
Behind your as a cyber security expert.
I know there are so many myself. I don't even
Thank you. Thank you for sharing things beyond physical level. Because let's be honest, the spiritual also influences and controls the physical. And we cannot even do life without being a spiritual person. If you're not serving God, you're serving the devil. So there's no sitting on the fence. So thank you for opening our eyes to so much more.
and of
And
course.
so I'm fine. Okay, sir.
Ah, you- I mean, just to add to what you said, you see, one of the things and one of the benefits is that I gave my life in Christ in 2007. So before really coming to start making some decisions in my career and so on. I remember when I was in the seminary, when I finished the seminary, and I asked the question one day. I have been praying. I said, "Now, God, what do you want me to study?" I mean, first of all, God will always approve with human verses. When somebody say yes, I mean the Lord wants you to go and do cybersecurity, but please believe me, I never knew what that was. I never knew what that was. I'm telling you. And for me, it was like, okay, this is not realistic, and so on. I remember when I took my first master's degree in international relation, and after taking my degree in international relation, I slept one day, of course, after praying, I slept. And when I had a dream, in that dream, it was written in heaven, very plain, cyber security. That was all. And that was where the energy just came for me to really change my mindset from theology as a major to get in there because I knew that God was behind it and so on. That tells you that there are some decisions that you might take not taking natural, especially if you do not come from a lineage. Some of you, it's easier to start a business because you came from a business lineage. It's easier for you to succeed in a particular area because you came from that bloodline. But if you did not come from that bloodline, it will take more than just a human willpower to propel you in that area of success. And I think that that is just one of the things that happened with me. Because once I saw it written up there clearly, there was nothing that could really hinder me. Believe me. Since then, I have been moving forward and upwards. Over to you, moderator.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I didn't even know I was muted. I apologize for the clearing of throats and everything. Okay, so to the last question. or should I say second to the last question, which should as well lead us to the last question. What one mistake did you make in your early journeys that you would advise our audience to avoid? And if you have just one word, a parting word to give us tonight, because we're running behind time. So, sir, I want you to talk about the mistake you made and how you would advise us to avoid those mistakes and your parting word for us.
Well, I mean, that is a very challenging stuff right there. But sometimes I would say the greatest mistakes I have made that has costed me a lot in life is not always trying to consult with people in areas where I want to take decision on which I'm not knowledgeable. You know, we live in a generation where everybody think that they are so smart. I can go on Google, I Google, I can go to ChatGPT and ask any question, I'm going to get the result. But no, sir. There are people that when you want to do something in a specific area and you don't have understanding, please be humble enough to go and ask, please, sir, I mean, I'm trying to do this. I know you have been there. Just help me, guide me so that I will be able to be successful. Don't just think that you can succeed by yourself. You will never succeed by yourself. That is the truth about it. So again, I know a lot of things I thought maybe, hey, I can figure it out by myself. I dove into it by my personal skills and talent just for me to realize made a lot of mistakes. It costed me financially and so on. I know sometimes they will tell you, oh, the outside is evil, oh, you have to be secretive. Yes, you can be secretive. It's not everything that you have to be secretive and you succeed alone. Even the king, they have counselors, right? Even if you look at the Bible very well, David was a king, but he had about three different prophets. Nathan, Gad, and forgotten one of them. They were the people giving him advice and counsel. Even the United States, the head of the United States or president, but yet they had people that would give them counsel. So surround yourself with people that you know that you can always turn to them and ask. Don't think that you can figure everything out. And of course, I know that is the greatest mistake that a lot of people they are making. They feel I'm too smart. I can figure it out. I don't need anything from anybody. If you are that type of person, know that you are going to make a lot of mistakes. Over to you, Esther.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. So as we bring this to a close, any final question? Any last question? Or maybe you may want to use the chat box. Okay, I'll take that to be that there is no question. Mr. David, do you have something to say before I wrap up for the night?
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. First off, I think I'll start off from Daniel. Thank you so much, Mr. Fabrice. It has been an insightful session for me. I picked lots and lots and lots and lots of questions from what you shared with us this night. And it was eye-opening for me. I believe others who have actually picked up one or two things also. And I want to appreciate you for that. Okay, I can see a question in the chat room. I think we should quickly take that. Omowumi Faith is saying, what if you are confused about what you want to do exactly? Omowumi Faith, do you want to unmute your mic and probably ask your question better? Or Mr. Fabrice, do you have an answer for this? Omowumi, do you want to probably give a better context to your question? What if you are confused about what you want to do exactly?
Hey, good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir.
What's even a fake?
Okay, so my question is, what if like you have a lot of things you want to do, or maybe different ideas just keep running through your mind, and even though you've not implemented some, the fear of failure from past mistakes, past implementations, and you're like, you don't even know exactly what to do. Like, let's just say a state of confusion. What can you do to come out of that state of, everything is attached to to purpose and to you even still need money to fund your purpose or to I don't know. So that state of confusion as to what exactly you're called out to do or what to do to I think that's just my question. Let me not be tired on the
Okay,
question.
let me answer your question. I will first of all start by saying that God is not the God of confusion, right? If he has called you into a purpose, there's clarity in his purpose. And of course, one of the similar questions I always see all the time is that what happens if I'm too talented? I can do this, I can do that, I can do that. What do I do? And so on. And from my experience, sometimes people with a lot of talents end up never achieving anything in life because they always feel that they know so much. But in your own case, one of the things you have to do is if you have 10 ideas in your mind, number one, write all the 10 ideas down. That's the first thing you need to do. Number two, think about the implementation strategy for each of the ideas. Number three, think about the resources it takes to be able to establish or to implement any of those ideas. The quite truth is that most of those ideas, the major that you may want to pursue, you do not even have the resources to pursue that major. That's the truth about it. If you don't have if you don't have the resources to pursue the major that you want to do, then start with the minor, because there are some that may not require a lot of capital, right? Let's assume that your dream is that you want to have a very big store, right? You want to have a supermarket. Okay, supermarket is going to be very costly. This is what you need. This is what you need. This is what you need. Yes, that is your dream. Write it down. The next one is you want to have a restaurant. Write it down. The next one is you want to achieve a doctorate degree. Write them down. So now you start asking the question, right now, where I am in life, which one can I achieve? And then you start with the one you can achieve. When you finish the one that you can achieve, it's going to gradually launch you into the other ones that you still have to achieve. But if you are just like, let me achieve the major thing that I want to achieve now, and you don't have the resources, in most cases, you will end up in frustration. Why? Because you will find the dream to be so impossible, because you would think that you don't have the resources to do it and the dream is impossible, but you forget to know that the dream is not impossible, but the issue is that it goes step by step. So again, write all the things down. That is the first one. Do an assessment. What strategy do I need to accomplish this? Do I have the resources? If not, if I don't have the resources, how can I start putting means together to get the resources and continue growing? If you can put that down in writing, then I believe that you are going to figure things out gradually. I don't know if that help you.
Yes, sir, it did. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Fabrice, for the answer. Yeah, Omowumi, just to add one or two to that. Like Mr. Fabrice said, God is not an author of confusion, and if he has actually planted something in you, then he would always give you the ability, that if it wasn't from God. And he would never give you too much or too more than what you can handle per time. Let me put it that way. Now, there's a place of writing things down or knowing. You might know too many things. I can tell you numbers of things I do. I wish you know how skilled I am, but you would never see me bring everything to the fore or actually bring. Now, what am I trying to bring out from this is the fact that there's a place of precedence or knowing how to juggle things or knowing if things are complementary. And there are some that you would need some particular things to fund some other vision as you move on. So always know the place of priority, know what God wants you to do part time. God is not talk of auto confusion, like I said, and just work in line with that. Write things down, know what exactly you want to do, and know the reason why you're even doing all of those things. Trust me, starting a business is never easy, and continuing in business is never easy. But what will keep you going is the reason why you have started in the first place. What will keep you in business is the reason why you've actually started. What keeps me awake in the middle of the night, or what keeps me still pushing on, pressing on, starting out is just because of the lives I know I wanted to impact and touch and bless. Your business might actually touch on different area or different aspects, but ensure or you know the reason why you are starting and start with the right thing. Let me just put it that way. Start with the right one that God wants you to do. There are some that probably might need to be paused because some things need to go first for you to have something to fund the other businesses and all of that. And there are some that you just need to start first to build your portfolio, build something for yourself, prove that you actually know that you are good in this particular thing that you claim to do. Most times it's not always about the money, it's always about the capital to start. It's not always about the funds and all of that. It's always about you starting first. And there are a lot of things you can actually start out with. At the initial stage of my own career, I never had it all figured out. And but I wanted to actually prove that I know what's that which I claim I do. For those that have trained or some of my students, they know this particular story of mine, which is when my first website that I built was my own personal website, and I built it for myself. Now, what was I actually trying to prove? I wanted to actually prove that, oh, I know how to build a website. I can actually have something to show for it. Now, having built my confidence grew and all of that. From there, I looked around me and, oh, I know someone that also has a business but doesn't have a website. I didn't go and start off from the fact of pitching myself to them and telling them I can build a website for them, bring $35,000 or whatever. I went first off with the fact of me building one. I built it locally, and it didn't cost me anything other than my time and my data and all of that. I built it first off to my own tastes. After I felt like I built something, I showed it to one, I showed it to two, I showed it to three. I didn't focus on just one person. I was looking around me, and from there, interest was breaking, my portfolio was building up. Some would not like it, fine, it's normal. Some liked it and asked, oh, how can I get this website to be live or do this or do that? And that was it. Started building of, okay, how did I also enter into the marketing phase of my own business also? It wasn't just straight up asking or preaching myself and telling people I can manage your business, I can run campaign, run Facebook adverts, run this for you. I actually have to pitch in myself or prove myself, show forth myself. And I do that with first of getting the results for myself. And all of that can be accumulated in different aspects of your life that you know you want to achieve for yourself. Know what exactly you want to do. And don't be so focused on the monetary return of that business itself. But first off, is focus on the purpose of that particular thing you are doing. When your purpose is clear, then also obviously profit will follow. And if your passion does not bring you money, please trash that passion. Unless you would, like Mr. Fabrice earlier said, he said, an hungry man is an angry man. Trust me, no matter how passionate you are, if your passion does not feed you or whatever, you just grow angry. Your children, that is if you are married or whoever, they need money, they need to feed. You need to send them to school or do this or that, or for your own personal self. How do you sustain yourself? How do you really thrive? How do you grow? And how do you actually make your first million? Just like the focus of our conference is on. So all of that should help you. So it's actually way past our time. It's 9:50 already, and we are bringing things to a wrap. Thank you so much, Mr. Fabrice, for honoring our invitation, for taking our time to be a part of this. We are really grateful. Yeah, yeah, thank you so much. Please let's give him a round of applause before we wrap things up. A round of applause is showing the appreciation. You can even unmute your mic and just say thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much,
And
Mr.
of course,
Fabrice.
may the Lord continue to bless your endeavors. If you have any
Amen.
other question channel it towards the host.
Amen.
Yeah, thank you so much. And probably I've not mentioned, Mr. Fabrice is a cybersecurity expert. He's very good at what he does. And probably I don't know, you might be on this call and you are looking forward to starting out something in cybersecurity. Probably you feel like, oh, cybersecurity, I want to know this thing, I want to learn. Probably God has even been directing your path. He trains students, he mentors students, especially on this part. And with just you can always reach out to him. His website is cybertech.com. I think I would have to send that on the chat. Cybertech is spelled CY.
K2 Cybertech.
Yeah, K2, sorry, K2 Cybertech. Sorry, I missed that. K2. Probably I think I need to type that so we don't mix them. We don't mix that up. K2, then Cyber. Yeah, thank you so much for typing that in. So you can learn more about his business. You can learn more about what he does. He's very good at what he does. And you might be looking to signing up. That is just why I'm pushing this in. He runs training part-time, just like myself, doing my digital marketing training. He also trains people in cybersecurity, and he has an expanse of them. He has students in different parts of the world. You also can be a beneficiary. Just tell him you are coming from me. I'm sure he will give you a discount of. I'm very, very sure about that.
I mean,
So thank you so
in
much.
addition just to that, cybersecurity, other core projects are run by the side
Mhm,
is like publishing, but with
mhm,
publishing here is about writing,
mhm.
biographies, and so on. So that's one of the things I'm specialized in writing biographies because I've realized a lot of people they have a lot of in their mind, but they don't have the skills to be able to bring that life. So one of the things with my company, you can just outsource us to be able to write everything from start to finish, and we just deliver it to you. If you want to publish it, market it, then that is up to you. But primarily, we are here to collect your ideas and bring it live in the form of writing.
Yeah, that's it. You've heard it from the horse's mouth. If you are looking at actually, or you have a dream of publishing your works on Amazon, on different whatever, he runs his own publishing platform, and you can always reach out to him on all of this. So thank you so much, Mr. Fabrice. We are really grateful for the honor, for really taking our time. I know how busy you are, but you still, in fact, you immediately I joined the call, you were the first to join in, and that just shows you a lot into your willingness to really impact life and to really point to people. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you to the moderator Olawale Esther. It's really a pleasure doing this with you, and thank you for giving in this. So everyone on the call, thank you so much. In case you don't know much about us, I would quickly just brief through again for those that joined in early. I already mentioned or we've already explained this, but in case you don't know the Mustard Circle, it's a business community and it's primarily created for the small business owner, entrepreneurs, and creators that are tired of building, just like the mustard seed is. The mustard seed, as small as tiny as that seed is, has the potential of actually growing to becoming something very, very big and very massive. And that's the same thing for you. Don't see yourself as a small business owner. Fine, you may be a small business owner, but you have the potential of growing big. And for you to actually grow big, just like Mr. Fabrice mentioned earlier, there are a lot of things that need to go in place. The place of actually equipping yourself or holding on to your resilience and your faith, and that's like the backbone of the mustard seed. First off, we are business community of believers, let me put it that way. And we understand that we will need to continuously learn. And that is why we have our community. We have a community where we serve you on a daily basis to ensure that you are continuously growing and continuously learning, and we continuously impact you. And we also help you build that relationship, build that integrity that you need for your business. So if you are looking to joining us, you can check us out, themustardcircle.org for more information, for how to join the community and all of that. And our core vision basically is to raise a generation of purpose-driven entrepreneurs, like I mentioned. What makes us different is we are action-oriented. We don't just train you or we don't just impact you. We actually give you practicable applications of things that can be done into your business. And we understand that you can be locally relevant, but we want you to build the global standard. And that is why we had to bring in Mr. Fabrice today. And we're a community that is powered by accountability. That is, you have to be accountable. You have to prove to us that whatever we are imputing into you, you're actually implementing, you're putting it into practice. So we require at least you being accountable to us, giving us a feedback on all of those implementations of things. Those are members of the community can attest to this. And also we understand that purpose is before profit, not profit first. Because with profits, but I mean purpose before profits, but profits intentionally. You can always profit intentionally, but always come with a purpose. Your business is first off to actually be a solution to someone's problem. Once you understand that, then profit would easily come in. And our first million conference, like what we're having today, this is the second edition. We've had the first edition last month. The second edition this month, we'll be having another one next month, which will be the first million blueprints conference 3.0. And what is it about exactly? It's about understanding what the first million actually indicates. If you hear the first million, I believe the first thing that would always come to your mind is the money, but not really specifically the money. The first million can mean different things. It can actually mean find the business. That means the first million breakthrough you hit in your business. Trust me, if you've not made your first million as a business owner, you still feel a little withdrawn, or you feel like you are not really fulfilled. But from that very first million, it shows you that it is possible. You can actually break through. You can be better. You have a potential of growing. And also your first 1 million reach, that is how many people have you impacted in your business for whatever thing you might be doing. We want to show you that it is possible. And also 1 million in value, that means you are delivering solutions that matter. And just like this night, it is one of those days. So your first million would not come from the noise. It will come from clarity. It will come from structure. It will come from courage. It will come from you doing the work with intentionality. And you are just one decision away from achieving that serious growth. And that is what the Mustard Circle is about. We invite you. It's free to join in. Just send a message. Every details you need you can get from the website, or message me or message any of the admin, or you send a mail to us at the mustardcircle@gmail.com. Every information you need to join in the community, it's free, like I mentioned, and we work you on a daily basis, step by step, on how to actually grow in your business, be better at what you do. That is basically our mission, and we want you to ensure that you get the very best. These are contact details shown to you on the screen. And as part of what the benefits, or part of the benefits that you stand to also gain as a member of the community, is the recording of this class also would be shared only to the members of the community. We don't share this out. It will only be shared. That's for those that probably might want to refer back to some of the things that we discussed. If you want to learn some things, it is only open to the members of the community. So you need to be a part of that. That's one. Secondly, there will be a challenge coming soon. All informations are being shared on the community itself. And what's the challenge about? The challenge is basically to show you, we call it the first million blueprint challenge. Now, what is that challenge about? The challenge is basically to help you hit your first million in your business. We want to show you that it's possible. Like we mentioned, our business community is not just the word of the mouth. We want to practicalize, put into practice, and we would be guiding you every step of the way to actually achieve that. It's a challenge, like I mentioned, and all information you need about it to be shared on the community. So you need to be a part of the Mustard Circle. So that brings us to the end of tonight's meeting. I'm just 1 hour, 1 minute away from my time. Any final words from anyone before we bring the meeting to wrap up? Olawale, yesterday, have something to say? Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I'm still giving room. Okay, Dorcas, thank you so much. And to every member of the Mustard Circle team, I see some of you on the call. I really appreciate. Thank you so much for doing this with me. Thank you so much for taking out time from your busy schedule. So everyone that joined the call, also thank you, everyone. Mr. Fabrice, it's really a pleasure having you. Yeah, Omowumi. Oh, sorry, Dorcas, your hand is raised. I don't know. You want to say something?
No, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to join the community. And today is my birthday. I really appreciate this. I got some. I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday for please, people that have good voice. I don't want bad voice. Oh, yeah, we'll start. Who is leading us? It's 10 o'clock already. Please, happy birthday.
Thank you so much. No worry, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I think majority of our audiences have bad voice. Happy birthday to you, long life and prosperity. It's a beautiful, glorious, amazing year for you. From here onward, it's growth for you. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you so much for everyone. We don't want to extend beyond our normal time. If you have more questions, you can always ask. Like I mentioned, that's our WhatsApp number, that's our website shown on your screen, and that's our email address. And as sent on the chats also, that's a link to joining the community. The link takes you straight to filling the form. And okay, one last thing that I also forgot to mention, as part of being a member of our community, you also stand the privilege of being enlisted on our website. What do I mean by enlisted? Your business, everything about your business can be listed on our website, in the sense that you get people to patronize you organically right from our website, and it's only open to our members. And that's the reason why before you join, we want to get all your necessary details, because we don't want people that are coming to the community to come and scam people. We are building, we are a community of integrity, and we have to ensure that that is being sustained. So thank you, everyone, for joining in. I love you all, and God bless you. Let's have an amazing night rest. Good night, everyone. Ciao, ciao. Bye, bye. Tell me bye, bye to now.
Good night. Bye-bye.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Bye bye, everybody.
Good night, sir.
Yeah, good night.